The new Toyota RAV4 has arrived, and it looks a lot better than the old one. But how does it actually stack up against our favorite small SUVs? Let's find out. The outgoing RAV4 wasn't our favorite. In fact, we did 2 recent comparisons where it wound up coming in 3rd place out of 3.
Toyota's motor is really loud, the back seat is small. I'm not a fan of the infotainment so much, plus the brakes feel mushy and the steering is vague. The RAV4 here, it's still up there, but it is at a 7.8. 3rd place, y'all. 3rd place.
Yeesh. I hope we don't ever put me in a comparison that Emmy's hosting, because that would hurt. So we're going to check out how the newly unveiled RAV4 compares to some of its toughest competition. All of these other vehicles have higher overall Edmunds ratings than the 5th gen RAV4, and because the new Toyota is going all hybrid all the time, each of these competitors also offer hybrid powertrains. But first, if the new 6th generation RAV4 is going to beat any of these vehicles, that means it'll also have to beat the old RAV4. We're going to have a quick look at all the changes, and if you want even more detail on any of these updates, be sure to check out my buddy Nick's first look video where he got to see the thing in person at Toyota's headquarters. The biggest headline is, of course, the end of gas-only engines for this vehicle. Every RAV4 going forward will be a hybrid, and don't worry Prime fans, there's going to be a plug-in hybrid too. The old RAV4 hybrid got great MPG, but we still didn't like it for a modicum of reasons, starting with a subpar driving experience. Now, while we obviously haven't driven the 2026 RAV4 yet, we have driven the new Camry, and that's got the same hybrid setup as the new RAV4, and in the Camry at least, it's pretty good. It made the sedan smoother, quieter, and more responsive, a big step up all around. And we're hoping that translates to its SUV relative, but we'll have to wait until we can test one to find out for sure, so why not hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out when we do. Moving inside, the new cabin represents a big improvement. I especially like that the small item storage looks to be outstanding, with a bunch of shelves, including one in front of the passenger, that gives you a spot to put your phone or wallet or anything else you don't want in your pockets while driving. And the new screens have both grown and gotten improved software, it seems, an area where the RAV4 really needed to make some strides. But they haven't fixed everything. Our other big issue with the RAV4 is that it's smaller inside than most other compact SUVs, and the new one doesn't look like it's remedied that. While Toyota hasn't told us dimensions for the new RAV4's interior, we do know that on the outside, it's about the same length and has the same wheelbase, and when Nick climbed inside, it didn't feel any larger.
I'm 6 feet tall. Most people are gonna have no problem fitting back here, but it doesn't feel as spacious or as cavernous as the Honda CR-V.
I also don't love that the new RAV ditched a lot of its buttons, like those chunky temperature knobs, for more touchscreen controls, or the fact that it's still on the smallish side for a small SUV, or that it won't fit my big dumb water bottle or even a medium-sized water bottle. Everything else we've seen about the Toyota makes me pretty sure it's going to be a fairly significant improvement over the old one. So, what about the competition? First up, we have the CX-50, and both its gas and hybrid versions have an overall rating of 8.1, which is good, beating the old RAV4. We have always really enjoyed driving the CX-50. It has an absolutely perfect seating position for the driver, which is a rarity among these small SUVs. And Mazda's focus on dialing in the steering and the way the vehicle moves around you comes through in a great way. The gas versions with the turbo engines are the best performers though. The hybrid, it feels a bit more sluggish around town, but still feels great to drive for something in this class. It's also got a really lovely interior that was a cut above the RAV4, with premium materials and a refined look and feel to match the driving experience. And the final category that gave the Mazda an advantage was its style. Inside and out, this thing looks great, and being behind the wheel of a good-looking car that's also fun to drive, that's hard to beat. The new RAV4's better interior will help it compete, and the old one was already a bit more fuel efficient than the Mazda, so no problems there. But the addition of the new RAV4 GR Sport might change the fun to drive equation in favor of the Toyota. The CX-50 Turbo is pretty quick for a small SUV, but you might be surprised to hear that the previous generation RAV4 Prime would smoke it, and the new plug-in versions of the RAV4 just added more power. And in the case of the GR Sport, better tires and Gazoo Racing tuned handling. Now we'll have to wait to see if those upgrades can actually make the RAV4 fun, but if they can match the GR Sport's more aggressive look, watch out CX-50. Up next, we have a double feature, lumping the Kia Sportage Hybrid and Hyundai Tucson Hybrid together into a single pot of Korean stew. This isn't just because they are corporate cousins that share a lot of common mechanical components, it's because they have identically high overall ratings of 8.4, and that is tops among the small hybrid SUVs. And don't forget, this Kia Sportage Hybrid also won back-to-back Edmunds Top Rated Awards in the SUV category for 2023 and 2024. A big part of the reason that both of these vehicles are ranked so highly above the RAV4 is simply that they feel better. Both cabins are significantly more modern, don't skimp on the features, and have refined designs that are both attractive and practical. And they also had bigger interiors with larger cargo areas and superior comfort for backseat passengers. And on top of that, you're also getting those gigantic 5-year 60,000 mile basic and 10-year 100,000 mile powertrain warranties. And we like how they drive, and we like the technology, and we like the seats, and we like the safety aids, and we like the great surround view cameras. You get the idea. Now, I hear what you're saying. How do they have the same rating if the Sportage Hybrid won all those awards? Well, that's because the rating for the Tucson Hybrid is for the refreshed version that was updated for 2025. In 2026, it'll be the Sportage's turn to get a lot of the same changes that we liked on the Hyundai, including the addition of wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto for the big standard 12.3-inch screen and updated driver aids. So once we can get one of those in for testing, that score for the Kia might climb even higher. Here's where the RAV4 can catch up. These vehicles are definitely quick enough for this class at 7.6 and 7.7 seconds to 60 miles per hour in our testing respectively, but they can feel a little wheezy on the highway. The RAV4 Hybrid got the same time in our testing before, but the new powertrain should make it even quicker, just like it did with the Camry, and we think it can give both of these a run for their money. And remember, the RAV4 is already significantly more fuel efficient. In one of our earlier small SUV videos, we put the old RAV4 against the Sportage Hybrid on an identical 200-mile driving loop to test out the fuel economy, and the RAV4 crushed the Kia. Just like its new interior helps it catch up with the Mazda, those new storage spaces around the cabin and overall better design can give it some parity with what Kia and Hyundai are offering. It's an uphill battle for the Toyota for sure, but we're excited to get these vehicles into another comparison together ASAP. But that might have to wait until this thing gets a crack at the new RAV4. That's right, this is the Toyota's most natural rival, the Honda CR-V Hybrid. Keep in mind that the CR-V's overall rating of 8.1 applies to the old version because even though the Honda didn't get a full redesign for 2026 like the RAV4 did, it did get a slight refresh. Bring back Nick.
Honda's really happy with the way the CR-V has performed. It sells a ton, they got a lot of hybrids on the road, and it really is a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So, not much has changed with the CR-V in large part because not a lot had to. In both of our comparisons we mentioned earlier, the CR-V also participated and pretty clearly outclassed the RAV4 in pretty much every way except for value because of the hybrid Toyota's lower starting price. The CR-V has an interior space advantage it should keep with roomy confines across both rows. But in the cargo area with the new shape of the RAV4's trunk, it might end up being a bit more practical. When we compared the CR-V Hybrid's cargo area against the Subaru Forester Hybrid, it should have crushed it because on paper, it had a roughly 7 cubic foot advantage. But both ended up fitting the same amount of luggage, and that might also be the case with the RAV4. Now, the Honda did get a very important update in its refresh, a newly standard 9-inch screen across the board, and on top trim levels, an update to Honda's latest infotainment system with lots of Google integration like Google Maps and the voice assistant. But once again, Honda has locked that to the CR-V's top trim level, just like it did in the Accord and the Civic, and it's infuriating that you have to pay all the way to the top to get the good stuff in the screen. Toyota has a real opportunity to absolutely motor right by the CR-V on that front. Now, this next part will be hard to assess until we get behind the wheel of the updated RAV4, but we have found that the CR-V's comfort and ride quality are top-notch for this class. It's not as agile or fun to drive as the CX-50, what is, but it's more comfortable. The RAV4 Hybrid was quicker previously to 60 miles an hour, and the new one might be as well, but can it match the Honda's level of refinement? That's a big question mark. What isn't a question once more is the RAV4's efficiency, and this is becoming a theme. That same mileage drive we mentioned earlier with the Kia, the CR-V, it came along on that too, and it didn't fare much better. If you want MPG, the Toyota has always been the choice. And the last thing to watch out for with these two, we might need to reserve a spot at the off-road park because Honda has finally added a trail sport to the CR-V lineup to take on the RAV4 Woodland. Both have all-terrain tires, names that jam two words together and look appropriately rugged thanks to extra black plastic because everyone knows more plastic makes you look meaner. There you have it. The new RAV4 definitely has its work cut out for it if it's going to knock any of these other SUVs down a peg. Let's show you those overall ratings again, and as you can see, it has to improve significantly if it's going to leapfrog any of these competitors. But after a positive first impression, I would say it's definitely possible. We can't wait to get one in, test it, and see how it stacks up. And don't forget, the old RAV4 was the best-selling vehicle in America last year, dethroning the Ford F-150 after a 4-decade run atop the sales charts. So if this redesign makes it significantly better, who knows what could happen? Maybe in 3 decades, every vehicle sold will be a RAV4. Oh, sorry, I blacked out for a second there. Now, given how popular these things are, you're likely to see the new RAV4 making multiple appearances on our channel in the future, so if you don't want to miss out on those, please make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.